Hi, I'm Dani from figandfarmathome.com, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about who I am, how I got from first grade teacher to home decorator, why sometimes I talk about Fig and Farm, sometimes I talk about Fig and Farm at home, and how I can help you. The road from there to here is circuitous, and if you are an Enneagram follower, you might recognize very quickly that I am a 7. So I'm going to keep it concise because there's lots of things that have filled in that space from there to here. But I started my career as a first grade teacher, and when I was teaching, I started in Seattle. Loved my job. It was a wonderful fit for who I am. And 4 years into my career, my husband and I decided to move to Iowa. And when we moved to Iowa, I quickly got another job teaching first grade again, and that teeny tiny little age that I love. And then we started a family. So we're now 8 years into my career, and we started a family, and we were thousands of miles away from home. And during that time, it didn't make sense for me to leave my baby with someone else so that I could be with someone else's baby. So that meant sacrifice for us as a family, going from a dual income family to a single income family, and kind of those minuscule paychecks anyway. So going from 2 minuscule paychecks to 1 minuscule paycheck meant a lot of a lot of gives and takes, a lot of sacrifice, but good sacrifice. And I realized very quickly after staying home with little one that babies nap a lot. And I was constantly home. And I was getting tired, frankly, of looking at my same four walls. I was getting tired. And so one day I decided to go see what I could find in the garage in terms of paint or, whatever. And I found some paint, and I decided, after hearing from a friend that they'd striped some walls, I decided to stripe my walls in my basement, which is where my little one and I spent a lot of our time. And so I did it, and I was amazed at how quickly and how cheaply a little bit of paint transformed the space. And I didn't even have enough paint to do the whole wall, just enough to do the stripe. So fast forward just a little bit, and budget meant that we shopped at thrift stores, and it was there was treasures to be found at thrift stores. It meant that little one and I, that's where we found our clothing. And we splurged on my husband's $10 JCPenney pants because he had a big boy dress up job. And that's okay. That's how, that's the choices we were making. And I decided that, a lot of those nap time hours I spent crafting and creating and doing some fun things, dabbling here and there. And one thing stuck, and that was a baby business. Because my world was baby, I decided to open up a baby boutique. And this was all, virtual on Etsy. And then I started doing some local markets, and my mom helped me. We created things like crib sheets and hooded towels and burp cloths and all kinds of wonderful things. We shipped worldwide. Clientele was growing. As my babies were growing, I now had 3, and life decided to take a turn. And we moved back home to Washington from Iowa because we wanted to be closer to grandmas and grandpas and aunties and uncles. And my first little one was about to be entering kindergarten. And we wanted to start that schooling in one place and not have to move, across the country when he was bigger. So we decided to move back home to Washington, and my interest changed. And I was not any longer, I was still in the baby world because I had a brand new baby, but my interests were growing and changing, and I was decorating a new house. And It was new and exciting, and it seemed to be that we had so much space compared to our little cottage in Iowa. We had so much space. And so that became a mission. It was still on a budget because we were still making that transition. And thrift stores then started taking a turn for me in terms of curating kind of furniture things and home decor things. But 2 years into our move, one of the things we left behind in Iowa were some really dear friends who had kind of become like family. And one of those people is my dear friend, Kate. And Kate and I decided that we wanted to, we were kindred spirits. And we were both teachers. We had served as children's pastors in Iowa, loved to scrapbook, loved to sew, loved to do everything together. Except for run. We didn't. I'm the runner, Kate, not so much, and that's okay. But while we were living separately, we decided that it would be fun to have to start something kind of fresh and new, combined, even though we were thousands of miles apart, that would essentially fund our friendship. And we opened up Fig and Farm. Fig was me because I had a couple fig trees at my home in Seattle. Um, she's Farm because she's from Iowa, and Fig and Farm was born. And Fig and Farm lived on Etsy. Fig and Farm was basically a curated, upcycled, find the vintage fun home decor things, upcycle vintage or upcycle home decor things, make it more for the modern home, the modern girl. And she did markets in Iowa. I did markets in Washington. Um, and and then we started growing a little bit. Kate, a couple years in, expanded to a couple shops actually in Iowa. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there really quick because if you have been following along for a while, you may have wondered like, who is this girl? She does not look like anyone. She doesn't look like that girl I found in the Iowa market. No, I'm not. I'm Dani. But you will find Kate at the shop in Iowa City and the shop in Kelowna in Iowa. So go find her, go follow them. They're doing amazing things in their little Iowan world. And that's how they've expanded and grown. Me, I have my own little shop in Sumner, Washington. It's inside of Sparrow and Nightingales. I sell on Etsy. You can find me at Fig and Farm on Etsy. And what happened, how I've grown a little bit more is that as I've started decorating my own home when we moved several years ago, people started noticing. The friends I was making started noticing and asking for some help. That help kind of snowballed, and it led to me having some paid clients, working with a realtor to do some staging jobs. And now Fig and Farm at Home is the decorating branch uh, outside of Fig and Farm. So Fig and Farm is very much still alive and present. It's product based. Fig and Farm at Home is me helping busy moms learn to love their home by decorating. And my philosophy is this: I don't think design has to be super budget. I don't think it has to be perfect to be beautiful. I think that you can thrift a lot of things. I think you can DIY a lot of things. If you're willing to roll up your sleeves a little bit and put a little bit of work and effort into it, you can have a beautiful home. And I think I've run into so many women who have said a couple things to me. I can't wait till, not I can't wait, but I'll decorate when the kids are gone, grown and gone. That is one of the saddest things I've ever heard. And I hear it a lot. Another thing I hear is it's too expensive. It is not too expensive. Another thing I hear is I buy things I like and then I don't know how to put it together. So my mission at Fig and Farm at Home is to help you combat all three of those things and more. I teach you DIY tips and tricks. I teach you, I give you resources for how to source things a little bit more economically than you might, than a fancy, I don't know the other word, a fancy designer would. We don't do a lot of bespoke things, and it's very accessible. So So yeah, that's what I'm about. I'm about teaching the busy mom how to decorate her home on a realistic Target, Wayfair, Ikea budget, but not necessarily have the spring collection of Target living in her home. um, so that's where I am. The teaching bug part of me, though, that has the teacher has only left the building, and I am bringing inspiration for you guys in the form of courses. I'm updating those all the time. Right now, you can find one course. I have one course of how to paint furniture. It's living on Teachable, teachable.com. And it's super affordable. It's just I teach you how you can transform maybe that piece that grandma gave you years ago, but it's now ready for a new story, and it's living on that platform. You can find that if you're interested. You can find it at bit.ly/Dani Design 101, and you can access that there. More are going to be added here and there. Um, but yeah, it's design is within reach, and it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Let me know what it is you want to know, because I don't know what you don't know. And I'm happy to teach you and guide you along the way. So here is to loving the house that you call home, and really embracing, really telling the story within your space.